Welcome back, golfers. Today we're going to go to part 2 of my over-the-top episodes. So if you're a golfer that gets into the over-the-top position, this episode will be great for you to watch. So stay tuned. So in this episode, we're actually going to take a look at a real-life golfer who comes over the top in his golf swing. And we're going to kind of analyze why, give some feedback on how to fix it, and give some drills to help build in a new pattern to the golf swing. All right, golfers, so we got the swing here of Hunter Jones. He's just an amateur golfer, submitted a video just to get some help on his golf swing. So when we're looking at Hunter's swing, what we're seeing, we're going to start with setup. We're looking at his swing from down the line, and there's some things you probably can't see. I can kind of pick them up being a golf coach and I look at a lot of swings. But when he's setting up, look at his feet, where his feet are aiming. His feet are aiming a little bit out in front of him. And then look at his shoulders. His shoulders are aiming back to the left. So he's kind of has this like twirl coming up his body. He's not in a position that allows his body to rotate easily back. And because of that, as we start his swing on the backswing, we're looking at on the backswing, his swing starts to lift up vertically and out in front of him. So if we look at him at the top of the swing, you can see his hands at the top of the swing are actually, his hands are forward of his balance point. So meaning his hands are, there's his balance point here and his hands are out in front. He hasn't gotten a very good shoulder turn. And the other thing I'm looking at is he has a negative spine tilt, meaning his spine is aiming backwards and he's in this position in his backswing where the hands are out in front of him, but his spine is back behind him because he's kicked this hip out and away from his body. So from that position, it's very hard to feel the muscles that drive energy. And the first move that he makes is straight over the top because the muscle, the ones that he's going to be trying to use are going to be his left side because that's all he has to work with from this position. And he's going to be driving there, which causes that shoulder and the left shoulder to drop down, the right shoulder to stay high and throw out and away from him. So you can watch in his swing, it looks like that. And that's an instant way to create over the top in the golf swing. So when I'm working with a golfer like Hunter to try to get them into a better position, it's going to start first by getting him a better setup position, making sure his feet are aiming at the target, aiming down his line, making sure his shoulders are not crossed up, and so his shoulders, his hips, his knees, his feet are all working on the same plane, parallel to his swing plane. So that setup position will allow for the club to work a little bit more back behind him and back down the toe line with that shaft rather than out in front, which is going to allow his shoulders to turn a little bit more and let that club come to his balance point because he's getting a full shoulder turn. And the other parts of the swing we're going to be watching for Hunter is that we want to make sure his trail hip isn't bumping away, creating the negative spine tilt. So we're going to keep that hip into that right side and allow him just to turn, creating this nice line right up and down from his lead foot up to his hands. And then that will allow him to be able to initiate from his core, initiate from the ground, and be able to drive that weight properly because he actually has muscles that are usable from that position to be able to allow that club to drop back down onto plane. So, fixes for him: get the club into your balance point position, better turn, better setup position to allow the club to get back behind him more, maintain that shoulder tilt down, which will keep your posture. Don't let that hip bump away from you, so it stays in a positive position. From there, now you can move properly, dropping that club down our path and through to our target. So if I was Hunter, I would put something solid out in front of the ball like I have here and have him take that club back so he's not hitting that stick or that piece of wood or whatever he puts out in front. Could be a water bottle, could be a head cover, just something out in front so he's not pushing it out and away. And then from there, he's going to be able to have the sense of practicing to drop that club down and then through. Other drills I would have Hunter do are, I've shown in the past, my arm bar drill. Meaning if you haven't watched my at-home drills, go check those out. I posted them a couple weeks ago. So what you're going to do is take your lead arm, put it across your shoulders. You're going to hook it right underneath, right there, and you're going to practice taking that arm, keeping that arm to that chest and driving that from that lower body into that transition position. So maintaining posture, knees square up, and just moving that arm connected to the chest down through that bottom of the transition. So if you're able to do that, you're able to hold on to that club from pushing away from your shoulders, and it's going to make it much easier to keep posture. From there, what I would have him do is my 1, 2, 3 drill, and you can do it with the board there with no ball, and all you could do is just take it to the top, practice the load, get that same feeling we did with the arm bar. Go 2, so you go 1 to the top, 2, 3 to the finish. Just trying to maintain those posture positions, keep that arm to that chest, dropping that club into the slot so that we can work through it without throwing the club over the top. So work first by fixing the setup, then work the drills to fix the swing movement, but really concentrating on getting a good positive spine tilt. That negative spine tilt is just going to kill your ability to hold on to angle, and it's going to come over the top. Golfers, if you're like Hunter and you're having that trouble with coming over the top, these drills and this information between part 1, if you haven't seen that, go check that out, and part 2 of actually seeing a golfer who has this trouble will help you get better in your golf swing to drop that club and shallow it off and make it so it works down your target line so you're not slapping across the ball. You know, there's nothing worse than having trouble getting that ball to fly straight. So if you haven't liked and subscribed to this channel yet, hit that button down below. Put out videos once a week just to help golfers like you get better at this game. And remember, if your feet aren't working, your swing's not working. I'll catch you guys next time.